look in the eyes of my brother without shedding a tear for my
What
brother.
it do? How you be? Where you at?
I really want to try.
Welcome back to another episode of the InforMILLy podcast. We are four brothers from Gary, Indiana, usually, but today we got a special motherfucking guest.
That's right. That's right.
Reporting live from where are you?
I'm in LA, California at the moment.
Oh, come on.
But you know,
Can't report
Gary,
live
Indiana
from a
are my
much better
roots.
place.
From the hilltop to Los Angeles, we have the beautiful, the brilliant, the absolutely phenomenal Winter Dunn.
That's right.
Hi. Oh wow, that is what an introduction. Thanks, y'all. I'm so happy to be here. It's gonna be fun.
I could easily go into her resume, but we'll do that later.
Yeah.
At CFA, she was like this. Oh God, please don't do that. She has things on Netflix. She's got world-renowned artists in the film industry that's seeking to work with her. And yes, she's here blessing us with her presence. And in case you're missing Aaron couldn't be with us today. We love you, brother. You're always here with us in spirit. But you ain't here. So, you know, we're going to move on.
Right. Bye, Aaron.
Oh, man. I expect y'all to do that to me next time I'm not here, too. In case it's your first time joining us, as I said, we are four brothers from Gary, Indiana that pride ourselves on having these conversations with each other that are hopefully hilarious, most likely challenging, and even more likely contradictory. But all in all, above all else, we pride ourselves on three principles, and that's being forthright, being vulnerable, and most of all, being honest. Before we hop into it, let's check in, y'all. Winter, I want to join, since you're our guest of honor, right?
Yeah.
How's your day treating you? What's give me something that's challenged you, and give me something that's brought you joy.
Okay. Well, my day has been relaxing. The first half of my day, I got to chill with my pup, so that's been lovely. What's been challenging, I'm actively seeking balance in my life right now. I've been feeling a little bit of overwhelmed energy. There's like a lot going on, and I'm working through some stuff. So I'm learning that having a lot going on in different places isn't always my strong suit. So I'm growing in that area of my life. And then what was the last question? Something that
brought you joy in recent times.
Oh my God. It's 84 degrees outside. And I took a really beautiful walk with my dog in this tank top, and I was chilling. So that would be, as someone who is from the Midwest, and I might not ever go back simply because I don't do snow. That's like, I canceled that. So that brought me joy recently.
It was cold today too, man. Like, was in the 20s today?
It was 12.
Not the 20s.
Man, it was rough.
Man.
So you're not going back to Indiana?
I don't think so. I love y'all though, but I think I'm gonna have to be a West Coaster.
It's understandable.
There.
Yeah.
Marco, how you doing?
Doing good. Enjoying my evening edition of the podcast.
Baby's in the back.
You hear screaming.
Aww.
It's all right.
They just watching a movie. I was cooking, so everything is burnt at this point. So I'm just joking.
I'm like, if you don't go take that food out the oven.
I'm good though. I'm good.
Word. AJ, what's the word?
I'm good as well. I actually want to substitute my update of my life with this observation that I've noticed at work of this guy that I work with. I just thought it was really funny. So you guys have heard of like the straight edge lifestyle, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know, people that don't smoke, drink. What's the other one? Do drugs, whatever.
Yeah. They don't indulge in any mainstream vices.
Correct. So this guy, like, he's like, he prides himself on this to the point where like anybody he talks to for like kind of like the first time, he will let them know that he's that guy. And he's talks about how he wants to get this tattoo. I guess they have like they even have imagery of like it's like 3X's, I guess. It's supposed to be like the straight edge logo, I guess you could say.
That 3X's? Doesn't that mean porn?
Yeah,
That's what I
we
thought,
grew
too.
up. Thought that was that.
Don't
That's-
make me spit this water out, man. I was like, right, drinking.
That's what I thought.
Drop
too.
your card, Winter.
Yeah,
It's okay.
People not using the right symbolism. That's the.
It was like this.
Yeah.
3X's have only meant two things.
Yeah.
Or, yeah, three things. And that is the barrels on alcohol or cartoons, porn, and Ben Diesel /
Yeah,
Ice Cube.
Oh yeah, and turkey and bowling.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, turkey and bowling. There you go.
Or if you went in tic-tac-toe and you happen to be X's.
True.
Woo! Look, all
else?
these things that aren't straight edge.
Right.
But to go back to this fellow,
Mhm.
like he prides himself on living this healthy lifestyle. But what's so funny to me is he will bring, I'm not even exaggerating, a 2-liter of root beer to work with candy, go to McDonald's every day for lunch. I'm like, you realize you're not as healthy as you think you are. It's like, and
At
it's
all.
just that's just the funny. It's the most, what's the word? Oxymoron. It's the biggest
Oxymoron.
oxymoron that I see every day live out in front of my eyes. Like, this dude's all about being healthy and not drinking and not doing all this stuff, but he literally brings a 2-liter to work every single day. And that's it. That's my check-in. It's just
That's funny.
super funny to me.
I mean, sure, he won't get alcohol poisoning, but he will get type 2.
Yeah.
Right.
Is this thing we call moderation though?
Yeah.
That's what we gotta
yeah.
just use that.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
always-
I love root beer, but I'm not.
But 2
Down
liters
to-
a day.
Yeah.
Every day.
Even alcohol, anything, man.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
he need to learn that word.
Yeah.
You can just do that instead of the other thing. The
Right.
the triple X's.
Yeah.
Not that much is going on my end. I'm really trying to learn this budget game, and not like a personal budget, because by all means, ain't like I got that much money with budget this $40 I'm gonna spend this week or some shit like no. But
Not the $40.
budgeting on a grander scale and growing the programs that I direct and whatnot. Because I had this revelation as an artist. I'm used to building a damn good product, if I do say so myself, with very little money.
Okay.
And blessedly, because people kind of trust me to make a good product, they'll come in on some, oh yeah, you the homie, so let's get this work done. And now trying to be more in that mind space of comfortable and familiar with money, so it's not weird in order to make it a part
Use
of
it.
like how I'm planning to use it, right?
Mm.
And so if what the easiest way I can put it is to have a budget go from $5,000 to $35,000 is a really big thing to me. And to be told that could go to $95,000 within 2-3 years makes no sense in my world.
Mm-hmm.
And so kind of like getting more familiar with money in that regard, because I don't really give a fuck about money, but I give a fuck about people, and people tend to care about money, livelihood.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's funny. I'm doing a similar thing right now, getting used to like money in regard to how it funnels through work and projects, not like personal budgeting, but exactly what you said. Like, I'm getting certain, this is our full budget for this piece. And I'm used to like, I have zero money and I have to make it creative and I have to pull every resource I have. And now I'm like, what does support look like when I can afford it? How do I hire and actively let people support me as someone who is used to like juggling everything all the time? Because that's what you kind of grow up expecting you're gonna have to do, right? And when you work on these bigger projects, these bigger like things, it's different. Money has to funnel through, otherwise we can't create the way we want to. So that's funny that you're on that journey. I'm on a similar one.
It's a big thing when you realize like you all the minutia exist. But when you sitting there with the budget in front of you, you have to look at every line item, and you're realizing like, okay, I have all these things to cross off, and I gotta I gotta make this appealing to funders to give the money toward it, because you know you're not paying people their worth. So so you're like, okay, so I gotta get a better grasp of what their worth is, and then the conglomerate of all of that,
Right.
because $100,000, that's nowhere near my like sphere of perception. And then you break that down to somebody to one person making 5, and there's 50 people that have to get involved with this, yada yada yada, and they're all getting paid different things for the different amount of work. And it's just a whole lot. And so that was a point of growth and realization for me that happened in recent times.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm
That's
sharing.
dope.
It kind of makes me. That kind of makes me think of, and we can move on after this, but it kind of just makes me think of Ryan Coogler. You know, like how he started off with a Fruitvale Station, and I think the budget for that was like $900,000. Then obviously he made what did he make after that? Was it Creed next?
Yeah.
Then I don't know what the budget was for that, but I'm assuming it was over 900,000. Then he did the Black Panther, which I think was like 100 million or something like that. So it's kind of like he just like grew exponentially. But,
isn't it interesting to watch his work too and see how that budget can tell a different story? Like Fruitvale might not be a good film with $100 million because it's such an intimate story. It just wouldn't work. You're like, why are y'all throwing all these tricks at it when you should just take a little bit of money and make a simple, clean story and use the money for something that needs it?
That's probably why they kind of like taking people from more humble beginnings, because people who used to dealing with that much money just like just throw a CGI monster in it, whatever. Like you gotta actually focus on the quality of it. You gotta focus on the quality of the movie first.
I wish DC would learn that lesson. But let's jump into the first subject of the day, and we'll see if we get to another subject after this. What's your least favorite job you've ever had? And did you learn anything useful about yourself or otherwise from it? I'll go first just to set things off. I could think of 2. Only non-dance related job I've ever had was working for Vector, selling Cutco knives. And granted, it's a pyramid scheme. I'm aware of that, but didn't do it. I still got those knives to this day. I hated the job because I kept going, who the fuck is going to buy $1,500 knives? This is stupid. And y'all keep telling me it's going to happen. It's like, oh yeah, you just keep talking to people and learn your script. And I'm like, I got to tell you something. I saw somebody cut butter with a plastic spoon the other day, and so I don't think anyone in my social sphere is going to buy a $1,500 set of knives. Now, what did I learn from this? I'm a great salesman, and because I did sell things, I never sold a big batch of knives, but I did get some sales off. And also, I love blades. And so the knife knowledge that I got from it of like half tang, full tang, stainless steel versus et cetera, that led into my love of the show, Forged in Fire, when they're talking about, oh yeah, we're using 3180 carbon steel. And it's like, oh yeah, this doesn't have enough carbon. And I'm like, yeah, I know that shit too, kind of.
Barely.
Barely. And the other one was
barely.
my first teaching job. I wasn't good at it. I sucked. I was very bad at teaching, and I cared a lot more about dramatics, how they try to get these kids to emote, than I did about them learning any kind of technical dance. And so I was fired very quickly from this job because. And it's probably the only job I've ever really been fired from, because in the midst of me trying to get them to emote, one of the things I said to one of the kids was, all right, so you're walking home. And like you're walking home, let's walk, and you see the environment, you see the trees blowing in the wind, and a leaf may be blowing, and so you push that leaf out the way, and right, you're doing this dance motion, and then I was like, and then you turn the corner, and your house is on fire. Show me what you feel.
Were they children? Were they kids?
They were 8 or 9 years old. They had no idea how to process any of this.
Why you burning them babies' houses down? That is
it got worse. I'm pretty sure I said, you heard mommy and daddy yelling, and you heard mommy hit the floor, and yeah, it was bad. I'm not gonna act like I was. Yeah, I was fired for good reason.
He was trying to get you was gonna get some emotion out of it.
I was gonna get some emotion. They did cry. All of the children, they did cry. But
what if Grinch stole Christmas?
What you gonna do?
Quickly learned my lesson. I became a much better teacher. Just because I still cuss at kids and punch them in the chest from time to time and whatnot, your kids love them. And so
I didn't hear that.
Only the boys. I don't punch the girls, but boys need to be punching their chest from time to time.
I still didn't hear it, but we're gonna keep
a lot of great students have come from my tutelage, so I feel proud of that shit because I needed to do something stupid to learn. Oh, right, dance should be about dance, and you learn about that other thing later.
Mm-hmm.
And that's my piece.
That's what's up. I got a funny story about. Well, it reminded that the knife company reminded me of a job interview I had, and I didn't know much about what I was getting into, but they just told me it was called Kirby. So if y'all not familiar with that, that's like a vacuum company.
And like based on the video game?
No, it's a vacuum company that been around for a long time.
And that sounds familiar, actually.
They actually do like that kind of a pyramid scheme type salesman type thing. So my job interview, I headed to my job interview or whatever, and it was in a building. Nobody was there. It was like one of those plazas with a whole bunch of offices in it or whatever. Mm-hmm. My place was in the basement, and I go in the basement, and nobody. It was like a bunch of chairs, a bunch of posters of some like old white guys who were, I guess, great salesmen or whatever, and a bunch of empty chairs. It was like
Brett Brencherson.
Yeah, like a whole bunch of gray suits and double chins, and it was like a kitchen area, and I didn't know what was going on. I'm like, is this a job interview? I got my my stuff, my what you call it,
your resume.
So I'm looking around the whole place. Like, I peeked in a room. It was like a guy in there. He didn't see me. I guess that was my interviewer. So I just said, nah, this is not for me. Like, I didn't even sit down. I'm like, where is everybody? Like, I like in the email it said like it would be like an orientation. So I'm already thinking like, is this an interview or do I have the job? Like,
I've been there. I know that's a weird, creepy interview. Like, I'm like, I gotta go.
Like it is a pyramid scheme type thing.
That sounds. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
No. You can finish.
I was gonna say, so all I did is look in the fridge, and they happened to have Guinness Stout in there. So when I saw that, I'm like, this is not the job. This is not the job for me. But I did steal that beer and take it with me on the way out
as a souvenir.
Yeah,
I'm taking this for my troubles.
No other beer tasted that good. Like, y'all wasting my time. I'm taking this. That was so rewarding. Like, it was. I was just laughing to myself, but like that was the most rewarding interview / orientation or whatever. But
it's funny. Oh, sorry, I cut you off. Go ahead.
No, that's funny.
That's one of my weird job experience. That don't answer the question, but go ahead.
It's funny. Your weird job experience actually reminded me of my worst job. I was gonna say in LA, like, you know, when I graduated school, I worked so many jobs just to afford to live in New York and then to afford to live in LA. So it was just grinding. And I was going to say I had to do this pet sitting job thinking I love pets and like, it'll be great. And it was horrible. Like I worked for 2 weeks and they fired me because they were like, girl, like the people saying that you barely like spending time with their cat. And it was all these dirty Koreatown apartments where like the cat had one eye and there was like roaches everywhere. And there was like a rabbit over there in the corner. It was like disgusting. So I was going to say that was my worst job, but you reminded me when I applied to work for Lyft, but in New York. So they started this new thing where they're like, we're going to have a Lyft courier service. So you don't have to have a car to like pick stuff up and just like drop it off to people. It was like they were first starting. I went and it was like orientation and I'm like, do I have a job? Is it an interview? Like, what is this? And they were basically like, thank you for being here. Like, you're the first ones, like hyping us up. And I was like, I don't trust these people. Like, what the fuck is this? So I worked one day and they sent me all around New York. I mean, like Central Park North to like Soho. And I'm supposed to get down there in 20 minutes walking or biking through New York City. And it started raining and it was so terrible that I quit that day. I said, get this shit off my phone, delete this app, don't call me again, don't text me no more. I don't give a damn. I'm going home and fuck y'all. So I think I picked up a delivery for someone and they were like, okay, they're expecting it in 10 minutes. And it was like 7 miles away in New York, which is like impossible. So I think I just took it home. Yeah, it was like a CPS thing. I just went home. I was like, you know what? I can't. Fuck y'all. I'm on. I gotta go. Right. That was my worst job I've ever had, for sure.
So, like, what's so funny is Marcus's story actually reminds me of an interview that I had, and it was similar. It was like it's almost like so. Okay, so like you get there and there's a bunch of people in there, and they essentially give you a presentation, but what it feels like is they're trying to sell it to you so you want to work for them. Like, like, wait a minute. Like, are y'all trying to hire me, or are you trying to sell the job?
They need you to drink the Kool-Aid in order to work, in order for it to work.
Yeah. So I'm like, well, that's interesting, but okay, I'll Then the next day, they was like, okay, can you come back for an interview? Actually, one-on-one interview. I was like, okay, sure. So I show up, and then the first like red flag was the guy that I was talking to. His suit was entirely too big. I'm like, oh, hold on, man. So
a baggy suit is a dead giveaway.
Yeah, that's always a funny look.
What makes it even funnier is that he was short, so it just makes it even funnier. So he's like 5'7" and a little stocky, and his suit's too big. Like, this isn't professional. Because like, if you can't wear a suit correctly, this is supposed to, and the company was supposed to be, you're supposed to be selling insurance. But another red flag was on, like, you know how you can go like on Indeed or Monster or Glassdoor or whatever. On there, it said the company was, I don't know, I'm gonna make up something. It was like insurance company, whatever. But then when you get there, the presentation, all of the stuff is a completely different company. It's not even the same thing as the ad. I'm like, so it was off. And and then the other thing that was like the final straw was like, it was like, in order for you to work for them, you have to sign up for their insurance. I was like,
nope.
And
that's a scam.
Yeah, and then you have to pay, well, it's like maybe $175. They want you to pay $175 at the job interview. And I was like, no, I'm gonna just stick with the job I got.
Yeah.
There's a lot of those out there.
That's kind of how Cutco was too.
For real?
Yeah. Because you have to buy the starter pack of knives.
Okay.
To then sell.
Cutco sounds like it just sounds so much like a cartoony company name.
Yes.
Like, Cutco knives.
What's even funnier because Cutco was the brand of knives, but they made sure you knew Vector Distribution or whatever is the actual business. And so like it was just a whole layer of stuff. I actually got approached with a pyramid scheme not too long ago again, where they were like, you're pretty much selling off-brand wholesale products. Like they have their own products of like their version of Gatorade and their version of stuff, and you're trying to sell that to
Alligator. Alligator juice.
I'll tell you, it was, and the thing was, a friend of mine told me to hook up, and so then I called the guy, and the guy that's trying to get me in. Every time I talk to him, he's in his car trying to give me the spiel, and it's a Zoom meeting just like this, and I keep going like, something about this don't feel right, and then I do the webinar, and I'm like, this looks real pyramid scheming, and then every time I talk to the dude, I kept getting irritated because he kept saying my name. And I was like, there's no way you think I trust you. You said my name.
Feel good.
A part of the team. They trying to make you feel like you one of them.
Hey, Joshua. So, if you have any questions, Joshua, just let us know And Joshua, we'll get back to you as soon as we can. And I'm here to help you, Joshua. Anytime. If you say my name one more time, my dude, I swear I'm going to find you and it's going to be...
Somebody told him, look, rule number 1 of sales, get to know me.
I was just about to say that. I was like, that's a sales
and that's a lie.
Say their name so they feel like they can trust you, but it's actually really creepy, and you can feel the inauthenticity behind it.
Now, if they say it once, like at the beginning and at the end of the conversation, I'm fine. But just throughout is unnecessary.
Like because I don't know your name, and so if I may say it a couple times to remind myself. But I straight up told him, I was like, dude, you got to stop saying my name. That's the weirdest shit.
You don't know.
And he was like, oh, yeah, sure, man. It's no problem. And I was like, you have to tell me like that you recognize that that's weird.
Right.
Favorite memories of awkward situations. Go.
I got one. I mean, this might not be my favorite, but it's the first one that popped up.
Sure.
Me and Kirsten were in Thailand like 5 years ago, and we took a cooking class. It was a Thai cooking class, and there was other people in the class as well. They were from Michigan, and actually there was a couple from Michigan, and there was a couple from Canada. I don't know what part. I think they were from Montreal because they spoke French. Okay. So I'm assuming that Quebec area. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so. We were talking to the couple from Michigan, and we were like, "Oh, we're from Indiana, Midwest people, okay, whatever." Mm-hmm. And we told them we were from Indiana because we're from Indiana, and then like, okay, and then they were like, "Yeah, we've been through there before, and we don't really know much, but all we really know is that you're not supposed to stop in Gary or something like that." I'm like, "Oh, okay, I'm from Gary," and then they were like, they just kind of like paused, and then their face was like. And then it was just awkward. Like I love moments like that, especially when like people are like, especially when I'm making them feel awkward. It's like that's the best. It's like because my quiet and like monotone-ish like demeanor kind of just makes it even worse for them because they don't know if I'm upset or they can't really read me, so they're like, crap, what do we do? So that's the one that stands out, but I'm sure there's plenty of them though. Because like I said, I go out of my way to make people feel awkward in situations like that. So there's probably a lot of them. But
why do you go out of your way to make people feel awkward? I'm curious.
Well, especially if I feel like they're in the wrong. For like, like somebody might say some like racist stuff and they don't know I'm like 10 feet behind them. Like you deserve this feeling now.
Oh yeah.
Point. So it's kind of like that more so. So like I'm just trying to like, I guess that's my way of being a vigilante, I guess. I don't know. Awkward man.
Punishing the racist. Awkward man.
He's not Batman. He's not Superman. He's awkward dude.
Awkward dude.
Changing perceptions, one awkward moment.
That's hilarious.
That is hilarious.
Winter, what you got?
Jesus, I was hoping you weren't gonna call on me. I hate awkward situations, and I think a part of my brain actively suppresses those memories because I'm that person who will be sleeping and remember some weird shit I said, and I will wake up like cringing, like, oh, I'm so weird. Like, what is it? So I can't think of any like really truly awkward moments where I was like, wow, I hate this. This is currently happening. I don't know. Is that okay to say? I don't know.
Absolutely. I didn't ask this question as if I had an answer. It just came.
Right. You're just curious.
I can't
Marco,
think
you
of
got some?
well, I can't think of like the prime awkward situation or whatever. But when Adam told his story, I was reminded of a similar story. It wasn't as awkward as it was kind of just. It was more funny than awkward, but me and Ebony went out on a date, and whoa, hold on, and we
XXX.
So this place was described as like was paranormal circus. So already is like,
Paranormal circus.
Yeah,
So like
what are
ghost
we getting
clowns?
into? Exactly. Like I didn't know what to expect at all. So when we showed, like, first of all, we really got dressed up. Like I don't know why. I don't know why. Like, I mean, it was a date when we was gonna go for dinner or whatever after, but we really got dressed up really nice, like dress shoes and all. And
You got on your wingtips.
So we were done up, as they say.
I'm sorry, man. I feel like I know where this is going already.
So we're looking for the address, first of all, and we're looking for the circus. Is a circus has a tent or whatever. But we ended up in a parking lot of a mall. And this mall was kind of deserted. I'm like, what was going on here? So that's already, like Adam said, that's a red flag already. But okay, we see the tent, so we walk in there, and the first thing we see is like a midget who is a little person. But at this point, he was already making a mockery of himself. So
I'm sorry. Can we pause 1 second? Only because I listened to the first episode, and Adam, your flight attendant voice is hilarious. I don't know if y'all listened to the first episode of the new season yet, but every time he needs to make a correction, you get a boom boom. And he says the correction in the ashiest voice he can make. And so I don't know why it just made me think of that moment. Please, Margaret, please continue.
So this little person, he got like he's walking around hitting people and saying weird stuff to people, and his guys with chainsaw, like, and just a lot of stuff like that, just like trying to excite people. But already we looking at each other like what is this, man? Like, now mind you, this was her I'm sorry, this was her date. So I'm like, what's going on, man? What you got me into? So when we go in there, like this little person the whole time is going around messing with people. And I think they kind of got it into their minds, like we not trying to be messed with in that way, because they like saying sexual things to people, and we just like, nah, you're gonna have to leave us alone. But so the actual performance was so weird. It was like people dressed up like zombies and vampires, and they were doing like it was a dance routine, and also it was like a scary, I can't explain. It was like them moving around like choreographed.
Wait, like what? Well, how was they moving? I missed it.
Like imagine it being capoeira and vampire capoeira. So basically that's how I would describe it. But it was some talented things going on, like what's those triple bars? People doing triple bars. Is that what it's called in the Olympics? Where they
double bar? You mean the
Big swing?
Yeah.
what you call it?
So
The
they were
beam?
yeah, the beam. I don't know. What
No, the beam's what you walk.
No, it's
no,
it's
not the one
it's
you
the one
walk
with like
on.
the
The one
high,
you
the one you
right. You
swing the high
swing.
and the low.
Yeah, it was a lot of
Mhm.
that stuff going
Okay.
on.
Acrobatics.
There were acrobatics, but
Thank you,
it
Ash.
was,
There you
but it
go.
wasn't. It didn't seem like as professional as the real deal. But it was like them switching out of vampire mode and going into extreme like concentration stuff. So it's like it was just a weird. It was a weird environment, and we looking around at people, and we're like, "Y'all really feeling this?" And we the whole time we just like cracking up laughing, and everybody else like taking it serious. And we just left halfway through it, but we got a great laugh out of it. It was so funny because it was like them people really performing and had this makeup on and moving around like scary, and the whole thing was just funny. So that was semi awkward, but it was just mostly hilarious. And there was other people. It was other people leaving too. Like
Like, what is this?
What's happening?
We didn't
So-
sign up for this.
So my question is, where was this? Was this like in Chicago or?
It was somewhere in Illinois. It was somewhere in Illinois. I don't think it was
See,
Chicago.
that was the first issue because the rest of the state of Illinois is trash. It's a horrible state.
It was fun though.
But man, I'm sorry you went through your they ain't had nothing on Barnum and Bailey.
Oh no.
Right.
We actually went to
Universal.
Universal, and it was great.
Yeah, Universal Circus is great.
Yeah.
I don't know why that made me think of this different situation. It wasn't necessarily awkward, but I don't know about you. Don't you hate when you get caught in something artistic and as an artist, you're like, I want to up this because it's some form of art, but you're like, this is trash.
That's what it was. It was like, I respect this, but I can't watch it.
See, there's where it falls short. I don't respect shit.
Right. I was like, I
Most
don't
of the time.
respect it at all.
I respect the acrobatic part. Like, you can tell it took a lot of discipline for that, but the overall thing, they could have kept that. But I respect the discipline it took to learn that. As far as the dancing, that was garbage.
I can trust your word on that because if the scariness was the that right there,
that little movement took me out.
This right here, this Missy Elliott video.
Oh,
I can't do that.
That's exactly what I was about to say.
And that's no affront to Missy. Missy is great. Missy is one of the few women who is so much more attractive now than she was at the height of her career.
That's true.
In my opinion.
Missy was always cute. Don't come for Missy like that.
I didn't say she wasn't. I said more.
Okay. Well, okay. She is cute now.
Even though her eyelashes be like whole ass Imperial Greek fans on them eyes.
You mean now or back in the day?
Now.
Okay.
But no, it reminded me of the situation. It was my first college dance performance. Not me, because I didn't go to college, but it was I hopefully this don't stop me from ever getting a job there. It's much like a lot of universities where a lot of universities don't really prepare you for a career in dance. They teach you dance theory and a bunch of techniques that will never get you a job. Excuse me. And so I was at and it was some postmodern piece where all they did was walk around and it was a mic on downstage right in a spotlight that one by one, after they got done walking in some kind of pattern around the floor and jumping around like fish out of water, they would walk up to the mic one by one and just go. So like when so there was this one time and shit. Not exaggerating, that was the script of every girl who came to the mic. And mind you, I had never experienced postmodern dance, collegiate dance, what have you. So I'm used to talent, And so so I'm in the audience like, oh, that was awkward the first time. 14 more times later, I'm like, is this the whole piece? And I'm filled with bottomless rage that I sat through like 15 minutes of this. And 15 minutes of any dance is long. And so at the end of it, the audience is like clapping and applauding. Sorry, clapping the mic. Like is really applauding. And I almost verbally shouted, "Shut up and sit the fuck down."
Their audience.
Stop lying. Stop lying. That was horrible. And so, Marcus, I feel your pain.
Yeah, that was pretty similar. I wanted to say some stuff like that, but
I mean, I didn't. I wanted to. But every student I've met from I go, how's that going?
You should bleep out the school name, maybe, or don't. I don't know if you give a fuck.
That's real.
Play it in reverse.
Right.
All right. Yeah. And like I said, and we can always bleep out and all that kind of stuff. Adam, engineer. But yeah. So in regards to that, we know artists can make good work, can make bad work, can oftentimes be shitty people. How do you fare with separating artists' work from however shitty of a person they may allegedly be?
That's a tough one.
I'll go first. Now I would say that I'm good at separating it, but also at the same time, like once I hear if it's legit and what type of thing they're into, it still turns me off. So I'm less likely to indulge in their stuff. So, but if it's alleged and I would say if it's alleged and I don't feel like it's legit, I'm not gonna pay attention to it because there's a lot of people who trying to come up off of people's names in whatever industry it is. But like I know R. Kelly is gonna come up in this conversation, so I'll just put him out there.
Yep.
Go ahead, get Robert out the way.
I really don't listen to R. Kelly. Not that I was a big R. Kelly person. Now I know he is super talented and he has like dozens of hits. So it's kind of hard not to hear his music. But I don't really, cause like when you hear the music, now you it's like
give more context.
You have context is there, and now the visuals is different. Like, so it's like, it making me feel a little too weird to listen to his music. Who else? Dang, I had somebody else in mind.
I mean,
what about like Bill Cosby?
I was about to say Bill Cosby. A few weeks ago, I was thinking like I kind of missed the Cosby Show. But I don't know where to, I mean, if I try hard enough, I can find it, but it's kind of hard to see anyway.
It was on Hulu. I don't know if they took it off, but it was on Hulu years ago.
I think they took it off.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they did after like the alleges, after the what's the word?
Allegations.
Allegations, thank you. After the allegations were verified and he got convicted.
Yeah, and it's just too many people with that, and
yeah. And it's a thing of even in Bill's case, like I know him.
William. Brother William.
In his case, it was a thing of not validating it at all, because you hear. I was listening to somebody talk about a podcast where he actually did an interview just saying, at the time it was just a thing. and it doesn't justify it.
Well,
but
he said that?
Yeah. Allegedly, according to some stuff, it was a thing. It was a thing of him being like, everybody was doing Quaaludes. It wasn't just exclusive thing.
Mm-hmm.
Doing them or
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 tricking other people to do them.
having
everybody
other
was
people do them for you.
Everybody was drugging each other.
And so I'm not justifying it at all. I think the shit was extremely fucked up. I especially appreciate what that did to the zeitgeist overall, as far as the conversations and perspectives opening up about rape culture.
Mm.
It's bad that he had. I'm saying it's bad though. It's unfortunate that he had to be the sacrifice for that. But if that situation is the catalyst to protecting and helping so many other people, necessary sacrifice.
Yeah.
Happens.
Also, it's kind of whack how long it took them. Everybody has their reasons for, you may have been too uncomfortable or embarrassed or whatever, and that's legit. But
he was also mad powerful though.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But I'm just thinking that somebody would have, out of all the pure volume of women that have been affected by him, like I would have thought that at least one of them would have probably said something.
I don't think it's a thing that they didn't. It's a thing of it. If everything about society silences you with the quickness, why would you have any impetus to say something?
But you know what's crazy about that is that everybody who has spent time around him now has one of those stories, and it's like I want y'all to be accountable too, because not y'all, but the people who was actually all those people who coming out with stories like, yeah, it was kind of weird how he did this, that. It's like it was no avenue for y'all. Like, Bill Cosby is very popular and had power, but at the same time, all these people are afraid of Bill Cosby. Like, none of y'all could have shared any of those stories before.
I think now you're talking about like not necessarily the women. You're talking about just like associates.
People who worked around them and with him now have a lot of stories, not even about sexual things, just
just character
things that were out of place, and things that how he treated people in general. Now those stories are there's a lot of them.
I think people. I think just based on what I know about people is people are like, well, he's this, like we've been saying, he's this famous, popular, powerful man. I don't want to say something, and that mess up my opportunity to get a role down the line, or my opportunity to. And I'm pretty sure that plays a huge part of why people just stay silent. You could, because we're talking about Bill Cosby, but that's the case with Ellen. Even like we know how her thing blew up, and suddenly all of these stories are pouring out. But it's like people didn't want to say nothing because, like, well, if I say something, then
it's gonna get in the way of me and some opportunity I may have down the line.
Yeah, but now that it's out, everybody feels comfortable. Like, well, now I can say it because it's not going to affect my job in the future.
Right.
It's a messed up. That's probably. That there's probably some type of form of that in every industry, whether it be Hollywood, whether it be the steel mill. There's probably some type of like, I hate to use this word, but there's probably some type of toxic
power structure
thing, because they were like that back when I was in the military. It's like there's Absolutely. There's just a culture of like, I'm not gonna say injustice, but it's like it's just like it's wrong. For lack of a better word, it's just like for example, there's this guy that a friend of mine, this is sort of a long story, but I'm gonna try to keep it short. There's this friend of mine that he reached out to me maybe about a year ago, and he shared this meme that this guy that he works with had shared, And the meme was like, it was a picture of like a slave ship, and the caption was like, I'm about to go pick up some black chicks, something like that. That was like the caption. And my friend was like, hey man, like, can you share this on your page and like say like, this guy is sharing the stuff? Because, and I was like, why you asking me to do this? And then he was like, I mean, I didn't ask him, but I didn't mind doing it. But before I even asked, he was like, I would share it myself, but the last time that I tried to call this dude out, I got in trouble for it. So it's like there's this culture where it's like, if you're trying to confront the racist, you're the problem. You're the angry black guy that's causing the problem. And it's kind of like that's the culture. I'm not saying that's the case for everybody in the military or every unit, every base necessarily, but whatever situation that my friend was in, that was the culture there. Where it's like, if you try to say something, you're the angry black guy.
But that bring up a good point, because with the Bill Cosby situation, who put him on blast was Hannibal Buress, the comedian from Chicago.
Yeah.
He actually said something in his stand-up, and he didn't give a F. Like he just said, like he just said how he felt, and apparently that started the ball rolling.
And correct me if I'm wrong, it didn't seem like it was some impassioned hill he was trying to die on. It was just something he said in passing, and then everybody kind of jumped on it.
Right. And but when
that's what I hate. Sorry, I cut you off. Go ahead.
No,
I just hate when like we take a piece of someone's story, and like I hate if the intention is not to actually bring good. Sometimes I think we like to like jump on narrative, especially when it comes to Black people. Not to say that we shouldn't hold Black men and women accountable when they do something that's fucked up. I'm not saying that. But sometimes I do think culture, when there's like a Black figure that messes up, we love to tear, like we love watching as a society sometimes like tearing that person down, and not just for the sake of justice. It's also kind of entertainment. It's like, oh yay, we get to watch, and like people now downing the Cosby Show. And I believe the Cosby Show was a huge, like a positive impact on Black people and Black family and Black kids. And I think Bill Cosby has also done a lot of really great things for our community. Not to say that he shouldn't be, punished for what he did wrong, but I don't know. Sometimes I think there's an imbalance. Like when a white man does something messed up, we hold him accountable and we seek justice, but we don't slander him and like drag him through the mud the way we would do and make Lifetime documentaries like part 1, part 2, part 3, like it's like I get it. Like the man's crazy and messed up when in R. Kelly's like, to that point. But we didn't do that with Weinstein. I don't see no like dope Lifetime movies about all the actresses that felt, bullied into doing sexual acts with him to get in a major film. But I guess in his case, it's like, well, we don't want to like ruin his whole reputation. Like we still want to watch the movies. Like we still want to enjoy the work. Like let's just let him do his little thing, but we gonna still have fun. And I don't think we always let that happen. Like with Black entertainers, we like completely destroy them.
For the most part, I do agree with that. But another part of the Bill Cosby thing is his image. Like was to the public, his image was squeaky clean. Because he don't curse in his stand-up, and he, the Cosby Show, he's a great dad and a great man, and all these images of all these like you the face of this company, and you have a perfect persona, and a lot of people, they always gonna just go for that. They're gonna come for that to try to touch that. Like I watched this movie about Mr. Rogers. I believe
the one with Tom Hanks or the docuseries?
Yeah, the one with Tom Hanks.
Okay.
Yeah, and they were trying to come after him, or he was trying to find a reason or some dirt he can slander him with, him being a reporter, and he ended up like really helping him in his life. Like his message was truly about love and what have you. But the way I see it is like people really try to come after those people who are like all about the good, and it just, I guess people like to see those people tore down for some reason.
I mean, I think people find everyone knows that we're
They want
all
them to be human, probably. They want to see them as
they
a human.
it's that thing of everybody knows everybody's fucked up to some degree. And when someone gets to build up their own image or have their image built up to be some level of immaculate, people pride themselves on going, no, there's no way they're that good. We need to find what's wrong so that you can look better to me, as opposed to just going, oh, but they're doing these great things, so cool. Like, let's just live with that. And I'm with you. I agree with you as well, Winter, that Black folks always get more public outrage, and white folks get vacuum outrage.
What do you mean by that?
Take, for example, home dude that's getting internet dragged right now due to his alleged sexual abuse and cannibalism, Army Hammer.
I didn't know about that.
Yeah, so Army Hammer was sending some sexual texts to some chick, and apparently she wasn't the only one and whatnot. Where he's talking about, I wanna eat parts of you and all that kind of stuff, like legitimate like cannibalism type kink. And if this is a kink thing, this might be the kink you got to shame, because you're like, you can't eat people, Army,
right?
But that also is lending itself to more things coming out now about that also kind of stemming from some sexual abuse behavior that he's exhibited. But there's no widespread thing besides some vacuum on Twitter talking about this thing. If we found out that, I don't know, Neo was eating people,
oh no,
we would never hear the end of it.
Don't even say it in joking. It is not true media.
This is not a real thing. don't sound clip. If this is the thing of ours that finally goes viral, it's like Neo eats people.
I'm trying to think of a remix that was.
Me too. I was thinking hard, like, man.
We gonna come up with.
I was thinking so hard about that.
Sorry, I didn't come up with a better example. I also know like 3 Neo songs, but I was trying to think of someone Black and obscure. But that's what I mean. Like it would just be a very different media scape for that.
Also, to your point, like they changed the wording of it all when it, like for instance, what happened on January 6th or whatever, it would have probably said terrorists.
It would have said
terrorist.
And that
would have been the
patriots.
first word. Yeah. That would have been the first word.
Yeah. Or protesters.
Even rioters is light. Like
very light.
Terrorists. They'll say terrorists if there wasn't a group of white people.
Yeah.
Oh, we forgot. I forgot to say this last time when we recorded. Things may have changed since the time we recorded this. And tell you what did change. We found out later on they smeared shit across the walls, and they still weren't called terrorists.
Right.
That's biological threat.
Blows me.
That's a biological threat.
Yeah. It is. That's crazy.
And so yeah, it wild shit that pink people can get away with. As far as like separating what? As far as separating people, artists from the artists, it depends on what it is.
Yep.
And how much I really actually know about the whole thing. How much like damage it was to the person, I'm not
the Cosby Show. Are you watching it?
I haven't watched Cosby Show in a long time. If it was on, I probably wouldn't turn it off, because there are dozens of other artists on this show that are doing excellent work.
Right. I mean, it's not a Cosby special, and it's just Bill. It's like writers and actresses and producers. It's a big show.
Even though it's called the Cosby Show, is comprised of all these people, and a lot of people still living. Like the dude, who work in the grocery store.
He doesn't do that anymore, but yeah, he did. That was really fucked up.
Right.
He needs the Cosby Show, man. I
But
did
in
feel
gen-
bad
Get
for
his
him, like,
checks.
hey, that was
Yeah.
that was what he was living off, and it was. I mean, that was. I don't know.
in general, that's a thing,
not-
though.
It's actually
Like,
not funny, but I just kept laughing.
No, but that always breaks my heart because I'm like, y'all do all this stuff where you go, oh, but this person needs to be the face, and then if the face gets fucked up, all of these people get affected.
Yeah.
And y'all act like they don't exist because you're mad over here.
Right.
But
Yeah.
But look at what Roseanne, like,
I'm about to
they
say, yup.
changed the name of the show.
But
They
the
did
show
do
got
that.
the show got to continue.
Right. And they could have called it the what was the
The
I think-
Connors.
Yeah, they call it the Connors now.
The Connors, yeah. Are you saying
what's
the
the Cosby-
Huxtables?
Yeah, they could have called it the Huxtable show.
I mean, the show was already 2 decades old at that point. So
Right.
but
They one of the most what is it called? Not simulated, but
I know what you're saying.
Syndicated?
syndicated show.
Uh-huh.
They one of the, like, Seinfeld, all them shows is like bigger than new shows still.
But that's the
Office.
thing of the Connors
Yeah.
was a new show.
yeah, that's true.
It's a reboot. They're doing
It was
this
a reboot, right?
Yeah.
And so they get to get away with it because it was a reboot.
Right,
it'd be different if we're talking about like Ruby's kids or some shit.
Come on, Ruby.
But yeah, I don't know.
That show Raven could take the show.
Let me tell you how I don't need to engage in anything Raven Simone related.
She has her show. She
She
her
does.
show with her kids on Disney.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, she's Raven's home. Now.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. That was a thing.
It still is. I just saw.
It's
I
still a
think it
thing.
got
I
renewed.
did not know that.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I don't know. I think for me, when it comes to separating art and artists, there's a line that it's like different for everybody. Like, what did they do and how did that affect people around them? Like, I'm not saying I would want to watch The Cosby Show, and I definitely don't listen to R. Kelly anymore, but it's like, what if you own the deep seat? To me, it's like, I don't want to maybe financially support somebody that I don't believe in.
Absolutely.
So maybe like if a rapper comes out and they wilding out and I have the CD at home and I love their first album, I might go listen to the physical CD as opposed to go streaming their music. Because if I go stream their music, then money's still being poured into their pockets currently. And maybe I don't support that. But I can go back to late registration. Like, I can go back to an earlier album and enjoy it because I do think it's great art. And I have to respect that at some point this person was being vulnerable and they put what they have to say out. And it's something I respect and something it aligns with me, but I'm maybe not trying to pour today's money in their pocket.
Absolutely. I
That's kind of how I try
that.
to get around it.
I was listening to some old Kanye yesterday, and I almost teared up because I remember. I was like, "Oh yeah, I enjoyed this." Before he went off the fucking deep end. And the thing is, even in Kanye's case, like, can you separate the art from the artist? And I'm like, well, since he got more trash, so did the music. So,
yeah, it's quite easy for him. For me,
it's easy to give it up there.
Yeah.
And with Robert, I'm still mad because Jennifer Hudson has a fantastic song called "It's Your World," but R. Kelly makes up about 45% of that song, and I can't listen to it now because it just ruins the song. But the song is fucking great. I'm with you. R. Kelly used to be hilarious to me.
Right.
I brought this up before. I don't know anybody else that can start a song by saying "shut up." But
he is hilarious though.
He's genius in what he does in his lane. Like, nobody can be R. Kelly but R. Kelly. But
nobody can make
all that comes with a lot of trauma and a lot of pain that man has gone through throughout his life. And at some point, I'm like, because I'm always the one that's like, okay, what created the trauma and the pain that makes you act out in a certain way? Like, let's look past this moment and try to figure out the source. But as an adult, it's like, I have, like, even with Kanye and mental illness, like, I was one of the main ones, like, the man is fighting something, his mom passed, like, but at a certain point, it's like, y'all would hold me accountable, like, because I'm
Yes.
an adult. Like, I have to hold you accountable by your words and your actions, and you got to do better, man. You have to at some point, or don't, and then you have to suffer those consequences. And then
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about, y'all. So this what the guest caliber is gonna be this fucking season. Oof.
period.
Yeah.
Also,
Go ahead.
is a difference between like the relationship between a consumer and like if I was Kanye's friend, like most of their friends, you know, they don't publicly bash him or say things like that against him. They are really invested in his well-being, and they're not going to go around slandering him, even if, you know, he said or done whoever it may be. A lot of the, I feel like their friends still have hope and actually go check on them and, you know, talk to them,
Right.
and things like that. So it is a difference in a relationship between the consumer and people around them. Like, if I was Kanye's friend, I would probably still be his friend in a certain
like capacity.
Right, in a certain capacity. So I just had to throw that out there.
No, I'm with you. It's okay to have fucked up friends. If you know that you're trying to help, if you know you're making efforts to help them and they're doing something to work toward better health. This is not an ad. Y'all never heard of Better Health?
Better
Yes. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But it is that thing of course, we don't actually see all the work that, let's say, a Kanye does. But, you know, I hear him on Letterman's Netflix show and I go, okay, something's happening. May not really be working, but you're doing something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's is there anyone whose work you've given up that you miss?
I mean, I would say Kanye since we're talking about him, but just to give, not to cop out, I would have to think about that one. You mean like artists that we've liked before, but they just fell off type of thing?
We can even say that to broaden this out. They may have fallen off, or they just stopped making music, and you're like, oh man, you know, I really miss that. Or they did something fucked up, and you're like, damn, I had to give that up. But you're like, I really still like that music.
Okay.
I would say I miss like Lupe in terms of the culture and the feeling I had at the beginning of his career. But that, I don't know if that answers the question because he didn't do anything problematic. I think he's just living.
And then what you said, it could be either or. It doesn't have to be that.
Right. So yeah, Lupe for me would be somebody that I'm like, come back to me in the way I want you though. Like the problem is it's like artists are people, and I think we forget that they growing and changing and like finding love and getting their heart broken and losing, like they just live in normal life, and then the art that comes out of them feels different. And I'm like, why does it feel different? Go back to what I loved about you. And it's like, well, I am different. So you're gonna have to take this different narrative that I'm choosing to tell or not. Like that's your choice as a consumer. But he's someone I miss.
I can get that. Out of curiosity, how did you feel about the last project, Droga's Wave?
I don't think I'm at a point where I can have a real opinion. Like I listen to the work, but not in a way that I'm like, I have really
invested.
Yeah, I wasn't very invested.
Completely get that. Not on some problematic shit, very much in the just haven't necessarily seen any work from them in a long time. I miss Robert Townsend.
Robert? I can't say much, but he'll be back.
Okay.
Yeah, he'll be back.
Yeah, I thought he was working on something. I saw him on something on some show. Maybe was it The Breakfast Club he was on? Like maybe like a year ago.
Okay. Is he working on a movie, a show? I know you probably can't really say, but
I can't say much, but I can say there's a film, I believe, that will be out.
Meteor Man reboot.
Yo, people don't give that. Meteor Man his flowers.
Hey,
Meteor Man was revolutionary for the hood.
Like Bill Cosby, full circle. Bill Cosby. Bill Cosby not gonna be in there.
You just see like a shadow walk past and touch the meteor. Oh man. Yeah, Robert Townsend was like one of my favorite directors growing up. Like as far as I was concerned, I'm like, he don't miss. 5 Heartbeats, Media Man,
Saps.
Bats. Like yo, like he was I even recently saw the Making of the 5 Heartbeats documentary. Fantastic.
Oh, I didn't know there was one.
Oh, I mean, and it's just like giving you all the facts they show old audition tapes of all the people that actually came to audition for those roles, and it was literally like all of late 80s, 90s Black Hollywood. Originally, Eddie Kane was supposed to be Denzel, and Baby Doll was supposed to be Whitney.
Oh,
but Denzel pulled out at the last moment, and Whitney, her dad turned the role down. And so then he saw the brother whose name is escaping me right now, that plays Eddie Kane. He saw him in a off-Broadway play and was like, "That's Eddie Kane, cool." And so he before he could call Denzel to tell him, "I'm sorry, we're gonna go another direction." Denzel hit him up, and little stuff like that. Like it's
yeah, I love stories
really
like
well
that.
done.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Go
ahead,
I do have some stuff that I miss. Like I'm thinking about it now. Like and it's not even that old, but I miss Luke Cage a lot. Like out of every show that's gotten canceled in the last 10 years, that's the one that I'm the most I still think about that show like, man, because for me that show, like, it was this is purely my opinion, obviously. That show was a complete show. And what I mean by that is like the cinematography, even just the way it looked was great to me. Like then obviously the storytelling was, pretty good. The music brought everything together, like how they always had like the live performances and stuff. Like that show is like, to me, that I'm not saying it was a perfect show, but it was like I really love that show. And when they canceled it, I was heartbroken when they canceled it.
I love that show. I think that's probably the best thing Mike Coulter's ever made, in my opinion, of his work.
Yeah. My one gripe with that show, I do have a gripe, was when they threw that wig on him. So when he had like a fro, like that wasn't
to make an ode to like the original drawing or whatever.
Yeah.
I think if I could offer a gripe, he was my least favorite character on the show.
Yeah, I can see that. He was kind of cornballish. But not in a cool way. Like, you know how there's characters out there, they're kind of nerdy, but they're still kind of cool.
But it works.
Yeah.
Right.
But even with that being said, I still love the show. Like, it was just like the villains were cool. And then the second season, man, like with the what was his name? Bushmaster. Yeah. I love that dude, man. Like
he did a great job too. The dude playing him, did a fantastic job. I want that and Daredevil back. You can keep Jessica Jones, and you can damn sure keep Iron Fist.
Yeah, I like Jessica Jones, but I mean, I was cool with how it, how it.
I don't even think I watched the last season.
Yeah, I liked it. I mean, it wasn't great, but I liked it. But no, I agree with you. Luke Cage, Daredevil, Punisher. I think I actually heard.
Oh, Punisher too, absolutely.
Mumblings of them actually continuing Punisher. But who knows if that actually happens?
That was the whole thing that they told us when Disney Plus was like still an idea, that they were canceling them on Netflix because they were moving to their own platform.
Yeah.
Well, I think they have to still fulfill the contract of Netflix first. If that's
I thought they did already. I thought they with whatever the last seasons that were on Netflix was fulfilling that contract, but they made it seem like they were just moving the shows over to Disney.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Disney did that announcement. None of these motherfuckers are anywhere in
sight.
But I know they're making some Marvel series though. Like they got one out. I haven't watched it yet, but
WandaVision, I haven't watched it yet either.
Yeah.
I've heard mixed reviews.
Yeah.
Word. Marco, what you missing? Who you missing?
That's a great question, man. Well, I did say I missed the Cosby Show a little while ago, but I can't really think of none right now, man.
Don't fret it.
Yeah.
Don't fret it, Mo.
Watch right when it end. I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna think about a whole bunch.
Oh yeah.
Well, since we got a few minutes left, if you guys don't mind, can Winder can kind of just speak about like what you've been doing? Because I don't know if
Thank
people...
you went exactly where I was gonna go.
Okay.
So yeah.
Where do I start? I mean,
Just
So
just whatever you want to
yeah.
share. I mean, obviously you don't have to give your whole biography or anything. Just
yeah. Well, okay. So when back in the day, growing up, I was a dancer, but I've transitioned into being a filmmaker. So that's what I'm doing out here in LA. I'm a director, producer. I still act, but not in the capacity that I thought I would, and it's actually a much better fit that way. I don't think I'm an auditioning actor, like the girl who loves to get dressed and get cute and go to auditions. That has never felt fulfilling to me. So yeah, I made a film called Jezebel that's on Netflix right now, and I directed another film called Junebug that is, around in the festival circuits, and we'll have some cool announcements with that. I directed a documentary series that was on Quibi, and we were set to premiere like a month and a half before Quibi, or a month and a half after Quibi went under. So
damn.
That's lost in like the Quibiverse somewhere. Well, maybe it'll come out somewhere else. Who knows? But yeah, and then I'm gearing up for a really fire 2021. There's some cool stuff that's like in the works. So I'm feeling good. I'm feeling creative. It's a good moment for me right now.
Excited to hear that. So excited to hear that.
Thank you.
So to round this out, we're gonna give a little brief history on how Winter is connected to the InforMILLy Honest podcast.
Aww.
So I met Winter when she was in the 6th grade. And I was a freshman in high school. We were both attending the Emerson School for the Visual Performing Arts. She had just gotten there, and she was a dance major. And our teacher, shout out to Larry B. He's come up on this podcast before.
Mr. Brewer.
Mr. Brewer. He was choreographing one of his signature works to Madonna or Cher or something like that.
Larry Brewer song.
And so what the dance department always struggled with was having male dancers. And so the men had to dance pretty much with every class in order to, facilitate some kind of partner work and whatnot. And so Winter was my partner in this dance because it was the 6th grade dance technically.
It was the salsa one.
What was this? It was like bum da digga 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 dum 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 whatever that song is.
Yeah, that
song.
I know what song you're talking. I don't.
Oh, is that Selena?
No, it wasn't Selena.
It's like, oh no, it's come on everybody do that. Yeah, whatever that song
definitely
is.
Know what you mean.
Inboxes, DM us if you know what this song is. And so we got partnered up, and let me tell you how it went horribly. We couldn't stand each other for no reason. It was some self-hatred shit because we were the only dark folks in the room, and we were like, "What's your black ass? Can you move? It's all 3."
I know.
So, and she was yelling at me like, "Yo, awkward ass, can you? You stepping on my toes."
I did not say that, but kinda. The 6th grade version of how to say that is what I said.
I'm sorry. Fuck, nigga. Excuse you.
Yo, bitch ass out the way, please.
And so I honestly could not tell you when it changed, but next thing you knew, we were thicker than cold grits. And
cold peanut butter.
And it transformed into a brother sisterhood that I would not sacrifice for anything. I am so proud of the woman that she's grown up to be. I live in complete awe of what she's accomplished in all these years. And just seeing that this trajectory into the the endless corners of the stratosphere that she seems to be on career-wise, and just as the extremely pulchritudinous melanated woman that she is.
Come on, vocabulary. Yes, Josh.
I'm just a proud big brother, and I am honored that you blessed us with your presence as the first guest of 2021.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I just want to say that piece of we stepping up our production game because we're bringing in heavy hitters.
Right.
Thank y'all for having me. This is fun. This is just a good time. So thank you. That's so sweet though. Oh, I love you, brother.
You know I love you, Black. Right. All right. So if there is anything else, y'all, Marcus, you got something? I saw something jump out your chest. What's up?
Nah, man. I don't have nothing. I did. I didn't know I did that, but I did want to say rest in peace to Hank Aaron, and we forgot to mention
MF Doom.
MF Doom.
Yeah.
Or whenever, we just forgot to mention that.
Yeah.
Also
Thank you for
today,
that.
man, the legend Hank Aaron, man, he
Yep.
was he's up there with Jackie Robinson in terms of, breaking barriers in sports, and sports is important, is media entertainment in our world, period. So
Absolutely.
he was a legend. So I want to say that.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
R.I.P. to the gods.
Sir.
Yeah, Doom was a heavy hit. I don't know about y'all. When I saw that, I did not realize it was going to hit me that hard.
Yeah.
And to know
right
that
before the end of 2022. It
Yeah,
was like
his last day,
2020
wasn't it?
was yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
they said he had already.
He died on
been-
Halloween.
Yeah.
Oh.
And that's crazy that they kept it from the media. I guess
That
it's
long. Yeah.
behind that with his family or whatever. But
Wow, I didn't know that.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Dang.
Yeah.
That's some true
R.I.P.
mysterious thing.
Mhm.
Because obviously the mask thing was the given, but then like the fact that it's like I feel like his mystery kept going even after he died. Almost knocked
Right.
another vase over, but I do got something to say. So, Winter, I got so many story ideas in my phone back when I used to indulge in the cannabis. It's an ungodly amount of stories that I have in here, and dreams. And so if you ever need some ideas,
Okay, let's talk. I'm
I got
always
you.
looking for ideas.
But
That's great.
yeah, like Josh said, I think what you're doing is great. Just definitely, keep pushing, and I'm sure you'll reach whatever what's the word, goals.
Goals.
Couldn't think of it.
Thank you. It's funny. I don't know what it is yet, but I think I want to come back to Gary and make a film. I'm almost positive I'm going to come back to Gary and make a film. And I've been dreaming about this young boy. I do that. I think in images, and then I find what that story is behind that image. But he keeps coming to me, and I love him, and I want to figure out what he's going through and where he's going. But I do think he's a Gary boy, tapping into my roots a little bit. So maybe I'll be back in the Midwest sooner than we think, being creative again.
All right. Well, if you ever need it, you can crash with me. As always.
Oh, you know it. I would definitely be calling.
All right, y'all. Thank you for joining us for another episode of the InforMILLy Honest podcast. This was wonderful. Winter, we want to thank you for joining us. Please tell the people where they can find your work, how they can connect to you. Don't be sliding in my little sister's DMs like that. She taken. Okay.
I am taking. Don't slide my DM because you tried it. But no, you can find me on Instagram. I'm at It's Winter Dunn. You can always go to my website, winterdunn.com, which I'll be posting all the new projects that'll be coming out this year. And if you want to follow my new film, that'll be on Instagram at JuneBugFilm. We love more fans and more supporters of the work.
Yes.
Yeah.
Go watch Junebug. Get on Netflix and watch Jezebel.
Yes.
Support the work of brilliant black creators. And yeah, by all means, whenever you are indulging in any conversations, whenever you are engaging with anyone you care about or don't care about, if it's Joe Schmo on the street, make sure you got your mask on, but you just want to have a vulnerable moment. One of the most vulnerable moments I ever had was in a strip club in Wyoming. I wasn't the one being vulnerable. I was just talking to a dude, and he started telling me like about like he was married in New York and got a divorce and moved back home so he can pursue his dreams of metal work. And I was like, this is amazing. I didn't ask you any of this, but I'm here for it.
Hey, that seemed to happen a lot.
You know? And so we want to encourage you that in all of your interactions and engagements with other people, that you pride every conversation on those 3 principles. Being forthright, being vulnerable, and most of all, be honest. All right, y'all. Peace.
Peace out.
Peace and love.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.
What do you say? See, I'm trying to find the king inside. Could wear a chain on your chest with the bling inside. And we gon' ride till we alright. What can you provide to keep the youth alive? Cops shoot shots, but they